I keep my hoe in line. Those guys. Welcoming our next guest on the show. This man finished second place in the first round of the 250 West Series as Monster Energy Pro Circuit rider. Cameron McAdoo. What's up, McAdoo? How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Or calling in. I keep
Yeah.
saying coming in. I mean calling in. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Man, you happy with your race? I think it was very good. I think you got to be stoked. It was like a nice, steady ride. You know, like obviously J. Coop was away from you a little bit, but really solid.
Yeah, totally. I was pretty stoked on mine night. You know, I obviously got to get a heat win, which was nice to get good gate pick and stuff like that. And my first start, I really crushed my first start, so I was stoked on that. And then my second one, I did not do well on at all. I pretty much screwed the whole thing. So I was like, dang it, you know, what is it like? Of course. And then I was able to make some like good passes in the beginning, and I felt that once I got into second, like I was already probably 4 or 5 seconds off Cooper, and I just wasn't able to quite, you know, like I was already kind of off his wheel, but I felt really happy about the way I rode it, and like I felt that I stayed really well composed the whole time, and really like my laps were all pretty solid, and I didn't have really any moments, and that was kind of something. It's been my goal and what I've been working on.
That's your goal. That's your goal. Yes, McAdoo. Not have any moments. For sure.
Totally.
There was a moment.
There was a moment? What?
Before the red flag.
Oh, yeah. The moment. Yes, there's a moment.
Yeah,
right. There was a
there
moment.
was a moment.
And we'll get into that in a second.
It's going to be clear. There was a moment.
I was asking Charles this earlier. Charles raced pro, and I was asking him, like, he had never been part of a red flag like restart like that, and I don't think I was telling somebody like, dude, in my day as a mechanic, like I don't even think they red flagged it if a guy was dead. Like they never red flagged it back in the day.
No.
Never. They just dragged the dude off the track. So nowadays, so I was saying as a mechanic, I've never really been part of it either. But now we have more red flags than ever, and rightfully so. I'm fine with it. Like whatever. I'm not okay with. Sure. There was a red flag thrown for Bogle last year, and he popped up and got back to the start line.
Yeah, it was like a first turn crash or something.
Right. I'm kind of not. If you cause a red flag, I think maybe you shouldn't be able to race.
I feel like that happened this year too.
Did it?
I can't remember, but I think.
Anyway, that's another topic for another day. What's it like, McAdoo, on the line? Like, you know, you all your nerves all year long. You drop the gate, you get the red flag, sitting there. Now, obviously, we'll talk about the medic thing in a second, but sitting there, like, what's it like to get rev back up? And is it easy to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty revved up anyway, but it was a bummer because I started up front, you know, and I was pretty confident that I was able to do that again. I felt like I was executing my starts really well all night, and but it was a tough feel for me because that incident had just happened, and like I was extremely bummed that happened, and it was pretty. I was like, you know, I was talking to my mechanic. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, you know, I obviously have my view on it and how and why it happened, but that's up for debate for anyone. So I hate that, and you know, and then Alex was down, and I knew that he was still down. I didn't know if he was still down because of me hitting him. I was So to be honest, like I was that bothered me quite a bit, and I was doing my best to, you know, just refocus on my race ahead. But it sucks. It really sucks being a part of that. And then also, you know, a red flag incident anyway, like it's, you know, the clutches were hot, our bikes were hot. Do you change goggles? Do you not change goggles? You know, when are we going to start back up? Like, there's so many unknowns and that was my first ever red flag situation as well. So I think we all started our bikes 2 or 3 times on the line.
Oh yeah.
Like, everyone started our bikes, and the dude's like, nah, cut them off. And then then you're like, okay, do I put my goggles on? Like, is my goggle foam sweaty? Just all these little things that kind of just add up, and it was a different thing. But I mean, yeah, obviously we all were put in the same position, and we got through it, and gladly, you know, Alex was okay for the most part. I heard he got a concussion and everything, but yeah, like good thing that they were able to get him off the track quickly and get everything back going. So
it's got to be tough. So we were talking about your incident earlier in the show, of course. And I at the race, I missed it. I just heard the screams of people, and then I watched it a couple times. And like, I had people on my Twitter saying you should be DQ'd and what WTF and all that stuff. I don't put it on you so much. I mean, Charles was saying like, okay, you were probably going a bit fast considering that there was medics on the track and a red cross flag, but there was a tough block on the inside, so you couldn't go there. You took the same line that J Coop took. You did the medic guy ran onto the track. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like you're probably taking, and I saw your thing on Instagram. I feel like you're taking too much heat. What are you going to do? Like, shit happens,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, like, you can argue it so many ways, and I've seen it be argued so many ways. And I mean, at the end of the day, there's two things that you can't argue, I think, with the whole situation. And one of them is that I was not presented a red flag at that point.
Right.
The race was not red flagged for me. That's something that's not arguable. And also that the situation was wrong. Like, you can't argue whether the situation was wrong, whether it be totally my fault, tear me apart, I don't deserve to be on a supercross track, it be whether some people think it's the AMA's fault or the flagger's fault or the medic's fault. I mean, there's so many variables, but I just, I figured I might as well just go on and take responsibility. Like, I feel that, as a rider, like, I thought I did the best thing I could do. Like, basically my whole thing on it was we got a red cross flag going down the first rhythm lane. And so we rolled through it. Like, as soon as I saw it, I checked up and like cased this double, and like it rolled, and I just stayed right behind Justin, saw that there was a tough block keeping us from going inside of Alex. So I followed Justin and we went through those little rollers, and like, you see my back wheel kind of come off the ground, and I try like, slowing up, and as soon as Justin goes by, that guy's already headed to Alex, and his main focus is getting to Alex, because I think he's under the assumption that the race has been red flagged, right? So these guys know that there's a red flag out. Everything should be, and I even talked to the medic, actually. I've talked to him.
Oh yeah, is he okay? Is he fine? Everything's good?
Yeah,
okay.
He's totally fine.
Right.
Going to be at Daytona, but I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that it's the medic's fault, which I don't think you can just blame the medic, because as far as he knew, he got an alert saying that there's an unconscious rider on the track, like worst case scenario, and red flag. So he does not think that he's going to get smashed, right? And I basically followed the leader's line, and that's what happened.
Right.
Like, I guess me basically taking, I think I should just take responsibility and say, when there's a red cross going on, I should be going at a speed that I can stop at any time, and I can put no one in danger, because like I said on my Instagram post, I have the utmost amount of respect for all of our flags, for our entire track crew, what they do for us to keep us safe. I've been assisted by the medics before and needed their help, and they're awesome. Their whole crew is. So like, I don't want to ever be involved in that situation. And that's what was like even tough for me on the line. And I didn't even know that it was such a big topic until the press conference. Someone mentioned it to me about it being something on social media, and yeah, people were like,
"Oh,
yeah, I mean,
dude.
You know how it, yeah."
Oh
you know
well,
how it
I mean,
is.
just like Dino getting death threats when he held up Kenny.
Totally, yeah. I was just watching film, and my mechanic's like, "Yeah, man, I got a death threat for you on my Instagram." I was like, "Wow, that's pretty wild." Like, but yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why I went on the next day. Like, I want to take responsibility of everything that I can. I can have my opinion on it, and everyone can, you know what I mean? You can look at it whatever way you want, but
to me,
at the end of the day, like,
to me, it's 50-50 or 60-40 your fault versus his fault. Like, you both, I think, deserve some of the blame for the incident, and shit happened.
It was an accident. That's exactly what it was.
It was an accident. Yes,
exactly.
That's totally where I stand on it. Like, the guy shouldn't have been running across the track, and you probably should have gone slower.
Yeah. And I think
there we go.
Cameron has a really good perspective on this that I didn't see his Instagram post to know he was this self-aware of it and taking ownership of it. But his kind of objectiveness to it of like the medic guy assumed through his radio that there was a red flag, so he was safe to go across soon, and then he took the blame himself to go slower. So like it's a very good perspective on it.
And that block on the inside, that didn't need to be
dumb.
there. That was dumb. That should have been on the outside.
But guess what? That medic didn't put it there.
Right.
Cameron didn't put it there. So like there's neither one can control that, but it was there, right?
Did AMA say anything to you or anybody?
No. And when I got back to the gate, I asked my mechanic, I'm like, what's going on? Like, I just hit a medic. Yeah. And like, I'm like, are we like, you know what I mean? Am I going to get pulled out? Like, I didn't know, you know, like it was, and like, I do think that, you know, everyone kind of has their opinion on the incident, and whatever that opinion is, they're like, it's fully one person's fault. And like, I've seen people saying it's just AMA's fault. Like, no, it's not just AMA's fault why this happened. It's not the red flag guy's fault. Like, you know, I don't think that there's so many things that added up to create that situation. And do I think that situation should never happen? Absolutely. Do I take responsibility for being part of the reason? I have to, right? Like I think it's even similar to a lot of people with injuries. Like as a rider, oh man, I got unlucky with an injury. And like at the end of the day, as a rider, we have to take responsibility, whatever it is that created, like, how'd you put yourself in that position to have that injury? Or how did I put myself in that position to potentially hit that medic? So like, I have to go back and look at that. And I mean, I've watched it over and over again on my team's film just to see what I feel like I could have done different. Because like I said, like in my whole career, I don't want to have these situations, and I by no means do I want to have, you know, be putting other riders in danger or anyone on the track. Like it's already gnarly enough. Like it doesn't need any more things. And yeah, like there was, you know, I saw a lot of like that people didn't realize, you know, like I walked straight from the podium out the tunnel, went straight to the medic rig, and I couldn't go in obviously, but Kelsey Martin was standing outside. I think that's her name, Alex's wife. And I was like, hey, like I checked on him and I wanted to make sure that, you know, like I know there's nothing I could say that could change anything. They're dealing with what they were dealing with, but I just wanted to like at least be like, hey, I apologize, like that, you know, I didn't blow it off as people might have thought. Like people were like, you didn't say anything on the podium. I'm like, yeah, you have about 8 seconds to talk. And I reached out to Doc Bodner right away, checking on the medic, like, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm perfect, I did all these things, but I wanted to do my best just to own it, and just I want to move on. Like it was a big bummer for me because like I had a pretty great night, right? Like I've had some podiums and stuff, but I felt really solid. Like I won my heat race and I got second on the night. Like that was my best result, my best career result. Like I didn't feel great in practice, but like I felt like I made it happen. I felt like there was a few things that I could have done better in the main and the night show, but we always feel like that as riders. But it was just a bummer for me that it ended up kind of shadowing that night for me. And like it was like, you know, that whole night I was just kind of like, dang it.
Yeah, totally.
I was bummed. I was totally bummed to be a part of that situation where, you know, usually on a night like that, you're pretty stoked on how your night went. Yeah. And I still was, but yeah, like I do care, and I have a heart, so I know how it's like. Like when you rewatch it, it's just like, dang man, like how did that happen? Like it just looks so tragic. And then I rewatched it on TV as well, and then I really understood where some fans that aren't that maybe aren't following Racer X and all these every single media source that aren't as involved in it as we are as an industry, they could totally see that, like, man, that guy is out of his mind, because the TV, it goes red flag, they show the red flag over the finish line, then they pan the camera back over to me and Justin Cooper, and we're still like actively racing, right? Yeah. So it's like, what are these guys doing? There's a red flag out. Like, why did you smash that flagger? And so nothing makes it right. Nothing makes what I did right. But
No,
it just happened. So yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And by the way, you put yourself in my shoes, Ramit. You're one of my favorite guys on the track, and then you just run over my second favorite guy on the track, Troll Train.
Oh, I know.
I'm just like, oh my God, one guy killed another guy.
Yeah,
so, yeah, it was very tough, very tough thing. But I think he's doing. I think Alex is doing fine. Just took a hit to the head.
Yeah.
I never really when I wrote down my questions here for you tonight, I knew we were going to talk about the medic thing, and the red. I never really thought about you sitting on the line for the restart. Kind of rattled. Like I didn't really think about that, but true. Yeah, like you can hear. I can hear it in your voice, Cameron. Like
he cares. Clearly.
You care. You care. You clearly care. Yeah. And I never really thought about that because you're just to me, you're a badass racer, and you're in the racer moment, and here we go.
Machine. Let's do it.
Right. You're a machine. Yeah. And then you're sitting on the line, and you're like, did I just? How's Alex? How's the flagger?
Yeah.
Right. I never really thought of that.
Am I going to get
in trouble?
Yeah. Because honestly, I mean, I'm sure there's some guys out there that could really care less. Like I don't care about any of these guys, right? And we're all people. I'm a person. I have a heart. I never want to see that, and especially in our sport, and the way we've seen, the other coast of the 250s go. It just sucks seeing guys go out and I was pretty bothered. I didn't know if. Who knows? Did my foot peg gouge a hole in him? I don't know.
Right.
Is that medic okay? I hit him hard. I knew I hit him. I was very aware of the whole situation. I mean, it wasn't like I had my eyes closed. So I was, it was. I was doing my best to be okay, I still have a job to do. This is my job. I gotta go. I have to go race. But there was a lot of uncertainty and I care about. How people are. I don't ever want to hurt somebody, especially, from me. That was kind of tough for me. And once I saw them put him on the thing and he wasn't he wasn't backboarded down or anything like that. If, that would have even made it worse, but he was sitting up, he was sitting on the back, waving to the fans. I saw that. That was at least a sense of relief to me to be okay, I know when a rider's
Troll's
okay.
alive. Right, Troll's alive.
Who knows if you got a broken bone? He's okay.
Right.
That's what I was mostly worried about, and I was really hoping that he didn't have any injuries caused by that. I mean.
God, it was lifeless troll body just flipping around. Good God.
Man, it's terrible to watch. I hate it, but yeah,
Right.
It's unfortunate, but we're gonna move on. I've done my best to say my part and move on from it. I can, if some people hate me for it, then that's what it is. But
did you get some stupid stuff on your social?
Oh yeah, I got a lot. I hate that. I was in the press conference and I got back to the truck, got undressed, grabbed dinner real quick, got on the press conference. I hadn't looked through my Instagram, and one of the guys mentioned, he's like, you've been, it's a huge topic, you've been catching a lot of stuff on social media we see already, but talk about the medic deal. And I was like, oh yeah. And I had no clue. And then I laid in bed and I was like, and I'm pretty level-headed. I'm pretty good at just understanding where the source of these things are coming from. But yeah, it was pretty wild. You can, if you feel like seeing some crazy stuff, you go in your DM requests and it is very crazy what
people feel
some
comfortable
people
saying.
that say they're a fan of the sport, right? Can say, if someone says, hey, you were really stupid for doing that, and that was really dumb on your part, and this, that, and the other thing, you should have gotten docked. I understand that. Yeah, that's perfectly fine to have that opinion and go ahead and say that.
That's
for
normal.
Sure. You're a fan. You're a fan of the sport, right?
Yeah.
That's you're maybe a troll train fan, or just you don't like to see dumb stuff like that happen. But there's it's pretty wild what some people will say, it's unfortunate, but being in our position, you can't even really acknowledge that. I mean, I've seen it the first few rounds with the thing with,
Yeah, I would block them. I block that stuff. I just block it. If someone says something like that to me, like an insult to me, I block you.
Yeah,
you don't deserve to see. Yeah, you don't deserve to see my Instagram anymore. Like, I won't respond. I won't do anything. I just block you.
Yep, and I do my best to check like my comments on my pictures, because there might be one comment that someone says something, and then you've got two dudes arguing back and forth, and one guy's defending me, but they start saying crazy stuff, like just super inappropriate stuff on my post. I'm like, we don't need this. Like, I don't need this on my stuff. So I just do my best to delete it and steer clear of it. And I've been fortunate enough to not really deal with a whole lot of that in my career, and so far. And even, this thing, there's a lot of people that have been supportive and understand, and yeah, I mean, it's what it is, and it happens, and I think we can move on.
Vertex Pistons bringing you Cameron McAdoo on the show. Sales at pivotworks.com. 2-strokes, 4-stroke pistons, GP style, high compression, replica pistons. Please check that out. Sales at pivotworks.com.
In that downtime when you're trying to get refocused before the re-drop of the gate, are you just talking to your mechanic about it? Do you get to talk to Mitch, or I don't even know if Nick was there or not, but is it just you and your mechanic, or are you talking to someone else on the headset to maybe get some perspective or get your mind right?
Yeah, no, it was just me and my mechanic. He communicated with the rest of the team, Mitch, Ian, Zach, like over the headset, and they were talking about some other stuff that happened with the red flag incident, and he was just, I mean, he's always just kind of being like, what do you need? Like, do you need new goggles? Do you want, something with your tire? What, like, your bike, everything good? Like, basically, I was pretty good. Like, I stayed pretty level headed, and I had to change my mindset from being like, dang it, that was a great start, and I was in a great position, and to being like, all right, do it again.
Right.
Try and clear my mind of an incident that was, So,
did you you hurt your thumb a little bit a while back? How was it? You didn't come in 100% prepared, from what I understand. So, did it bug you? I mean, you look great. So I don't know how it held you back at all.
He's thinking right now, how the hell does he know that?
I didn't. I mean, I'm not one to like try and keep my stuff super low key or my injuries. I want to be transparent to everyone about it, anything. But just about a week and a half before the first round. So it was not the Tuesday before, but the one before that. On a Tuesday, I had just like a little washout, and my bars pulled my thumb back, and I tore the ulnar collateral ligament in my thumb.
Okay.
So that it's like the one that kind of holds your thumb all the way forward, right? And it didn't fully tear, like it wasn't all the way separated. So my thumb still has, some strength in it and stuff. So I wasn't able to really ride the rest of that week. And I spent a lot of time at Dr. G's and like a few hours a day getting therapy and doing the best I could to get the swelling out of it and stuff. And I was able to ride a couple, some short days. I think I rode 2 short days last week before the race, and was hoping to be able to ride press, because, you can ride your test track that you rode a ton of laps on, and you downside everything perfect and everything seems right, and you're like, it's all good. But I was still a little. We were wanting to like be smart, not have anything that could kind of like extend that, because we knew now we have 2 weeks till Daytona. And I felt like I had a really good off season before that, so I had a pretty good base built and stuff. But
couldn't have gone any better. With considering that, it couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, exactly. And we were happy with the night, and definitely the best I've ever started a season. And I really feel like I'm in it to fight for it. Like I really feel that way this year, and I think I've put the pieces of the puzzle together to be able to contend and like actually be my best self every time. I've said that a lot of times this year in multiple interviews, but I really feel like my idea of being my best self in the past has been to just be a bulldog, right? And like that's what I grew up knowing.
I'm just
an Iowa kid, right? Like you just do everything you can and just be gnarly. And like I've changed a little bit with my approach to it, and I want to just, be the fastest person I can possibly be every Saturday night. And I think if I can do that, then I can, put myself in really good position.
Yeah, you look like you have a sense of calm about you. You look like you've matured. You look like you can just kind of do laps now. It's not like you're pushing. You're not like on the edge,
Yeah.
So
like he believes he belongs up there, right? He's not like trying to prove something every time out. Like,
It's
for sure.
It's a nice change for sure for you. Are you aware of the Wakkas nickname?
I've heard a little bit of it here and there. I know it came from Jetson and Hunter.
Yes, that is.
And they, whenever I rode for Geico, they always Garen, their dad.
Yep.
It was always, "What's up, Wakkas?" Their accent, and I could kind of hear them saying Wakkas, but like
didn't really know.
the way they say it's like Wakkas, and like when you say it, you're like Whackers. You know what I mean?
Right.
How we would pronounce it, and so it was funny how they did that thing, and you guys caught on to it, and
we're just like,
that was,
they kept saying Whackers one day at Salt Lake, and we're like, who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. And they're like, McAdoo. And I'm like, why is he Whackers? And they just said, we don't know. He's Whackers. And
we
we're like,
still haven't gotten to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we don't even know why. But that's what it is on social media now and everything. So we're just running with it. Or Ram It, of course. I'm sure you still
get. That one just stuck.
That one will never go away. I'm sorry about that.
Power of Pulp.
That nickname was what made me realize how big of a fan base that Pulp MX has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I went to Australia shortly after that, and I was at like an autograph signing in AusX Open in Australia, like very shortly after that, and there's people coming up to me saying Ram It, and then I go to Europe and the same thing. I'm like, wow, these people listen.
Yeah. It's
cool.
good. It's good and bad. It's not always a good thing. How's NYK? How's that going? Everything well with there? Of course, good buddy of ours.
Yeah.
Yep. You're stoked to be working with him.
Oh yeah, NYK is awesome. He helps me a lot more than just a riding coach for sure.
I went out with him to Mesquite before Houston. He brought the kid up and Vincent. Yeah, I keep getting mixed up. Vincent. He brought Vincent up, and after I told Vincent he needed fly goggles or X-Brand goggles and fly gear to be cool, after we got done with that, I was just like, Nick is so serious. Oh, so serious. Yeah. I'm like, dude. I'm like, you're really into this. He's like, we don't fool around.
He's full in.
Yeah.
We could call him right now, but I'm sure he's elbow deep in a clutch or a top end or something.
He had driven to Rocky Mountain to go pick up a dirt bike and was making his way back home. Mm-hmm. I'm like, don't they have dirt bikes in Southern California? But I guess they don't. I don't know.
He probably had the shop take it apart and measure the clearance of something.
I don't know,
tolerance.
bro. And then he was on his way back from Utah, and I'm like, then he stopped.
You can't knock his commitment.
The thing is, like, from what you'd see that, like, you'd think he's just a fully committed. He commits all this time to being a mini dad for Vince, right?
Yeah.
But, like, that's not the case. Like, I mean, he's got Donovan. He's got his 3 kids, and like his daughter's in gymnastics.
And she's like
extremely good. But he's just as committed to like being at her events. Like he'll be
for sure. Like
one day, like we're at the track, and then like later that afternoon, I call him to tell him how I'm feeling or whatever. And he's like, yeah, we're just in Phoenix, or we're here and for Ava's gymnastics. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, or he's like. Yeah. He is. It's pretty. That's like what I talk about. Him not just being like just a riding coach to me. Like he's a huge mentor, and like I look up to him as how he is as a dad, and like to the kids, and like he's solid. He's a good dude, and,
really is.
Like it's a really good person to have in my corner to kind of, like he has done it pretty much all, and he's been through it all in the sport, and like just how he's kind of done with life.
Yep.
Like he's a great life coach too.
Yeah.
And I want to have people like him in my corner. Like he's the guy that no matter what, like wherever you're at, high, low, whatever, he's got you. Yep. If he's and that's cool. That's what he respects things about you that don't just have to do with your success on a Saturday night, and that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brayton was out this weekend, and we did the fly show with him, and I was hanging out with him for a bunch, and JB's another guy that just thinks the world of you.
Same.
You know, he is he's all in. We were breaking you down for like 20 minutes, you know, like you know, he's like, what do you think of that? And I think he's good. And just JB, big fan, you know, so that's cool. You got some really good people.
And JB's, you know, like totally the same. And when I lived at club, obviously I was around him all the time, and I would, you know, go over to his house in Charlotte and stuff. Now we're on opposite coasts, but we stay in really close touch, and I still call him, and he gives me a call every once in a while randomly. And he's also like another guy that I'm just like, I just look up to, like the way he is as a person, right? Like you have this idea of what you want to be as a dirt bike racer, but like also the way to get there is, and how do you want to be as a person? And like, that's just, they're solid dudes, and you know, they're very respected in our industry. Like, you know, JB, he rode for Factory Honda and comes full circle and comes back around and rides Factory Honda, you know, as a grandpa at 40 or 35, right?
Yeah.
And so no, it's just awesome. And like, he's introduced me to so many great people too, and opportunities, and it's just, like it's really cool to have those two are like, you know, some of my two biggest mentors that I've had in the sport, and not even just in the sport, like it's our whole life anyway, right? So like, even just life mentors, like there's been a lot of times where I've called JB and just been like, dude, what do I do here? And it might not even have to do with racing. Like, I need your help, like, you know. And same with Nick, like he helps me with anything, you know, whether it has to do with home life, whatever it is. So it's really good to have those guys have my back, and I guess, you know, be in my corner.
Yeah, awesome.
So are you based out in California, even though more of the races are taking place out east?
Yep. Yeah, I live in California full time. I moved I used to live at Club MX in South Carolina. Basically the whole time since I started taking racing serious, I guess when I was 16, I moved there. But 2019, I moved to California full time when I rode for Geico that year, and I just decided that the West Coast was, you know, as a lights rider and like my position and where I'm at in my career, like it's the best place for me. Like everything's here. You know, sometimes the tracks might not be as good as they can be on the East Coast, but like this is just where I've decided that is the best place for me. So I'm based full-time out of California. So
does Nick come out to the track with you during the week much, or is it mostly just setting up your program and cycling with you and stuff? Or?
No, he comes to the track usually during the off season, obviously it's different and stuff. And, if Adam's out in California too, it's nice because some days we can ride together, some days we're not able to, but most of the days he comes out to the track with me, and that's like, nice. That's kind of my that's my best thing from him, is to, when he comes to the track, that's the most valuable thing. He can really break it down. Like he's very good at helping me just be a better rider on the bike. And so to answer your question, he does come to the track most days.
Well, nice. From podium guy in Supercross, you come a long way, Cameron, from me paying for your upgrade in Geneva one time.
I sure was not going to pay $400 to get back. That was not in my budget.
Right. And so the old media guy stepped up, and no, I'm super happy for you. I'm super stoked for you, and you're well on your way, and really well spoken tonight about the incident with the flagger, and it's cool to see you take ownership of it and talk about it and logically work it through, and shit happens, and whatever. We'll go on to Daytona. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and I'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, Raymond. See ya.
All right. Bye.
That's Cameron McAdoo, everybody.
Man, I was impressed.
Right?